everybody, this is Marley K. I got something for you today from the computer guy who knows everything, honey. He is really telling y'all about his future plans for us, and we need to talk about it. The computer guy says in this article on CNBC that came out on yesterday, we will overshoot our 1.5 Celsius degree global warming goal. He's telling us that nuclear will be a safe alternative. In fact, he says it is going to be super safe. And he says that fake meat will eventually be very good for us, even though scientists have already said that that protein and that stuff our body cannot digest. He's telling us it is going to be very good for us. That man makes me so sick, I just can't even tell y'all. But anyway, let's get into this story. Speaking of the devil, the devil is one of them, one of many. The world will not be able to avoid overshooting the goal established in the 2015 Paris Climate Accord to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius compared to pre-industrial levels, according to the computer man who knows everything. He knows about pandemics, he knows about climate, he knows about computers and software, he knows about genetically modified foods. He just is everywhere. Education, poverty, like he knows everything. It's amazing. I don't even know how the Anglo-Saxons allow him to be so mischievous, but that's a story for another day. The billionaire philanthropist and MS co-founder answered questions from Reddit users on Wednesday, and a handful of questions revolved around climate change. We're going to talk about climate change this year from a different perspective, and I'm going to have a friend of mine come on so he can break it down to you. But I'm also going to include something from it's religious, or I'll say religious, but it's all tied together. So you can see why there's this huge push for climate change and this climate agenda. The computer man who knows all things made his fortune launching the software company Microsoft, but he also has since launched the nuclear innovation company TerraPower and an investment firm called Breakthrough Energy to back various climate change innovations. And he has written a book. Of course he did, because he knows everything about climate change. And the title of the book is called How to Avoid a Climate Disaster. So please make sure you buy this book or read it or download it from the Internet Archives, because it is very important. He's actually telling us how he's going to kill us and not feed us and take away our freedom of choice when it comes to eating real food. So I think you should actually pay attention to what he says, because he's not hiding what he's doing. He's not hiding his plans or their agenda. And so it's to you to learn about what is going to happen to you, to all of us. And then it's up to you to decide how you're going to counter it. Or if you're just going to go along with the program and let whatever happen to you. If that's how you feel about it, power to you. It's not my plan. The pace of innovation is really picking up, even though we won't make the current timelines or avoid going over the 1.5. The man who knows everything wrote in a response to a question about how well the world is responding to climate change. The man who knows everything about everything is hardly alone in his view. A report out at the end of October from the United Nations Environment Program, which I will say he also helps fund, found no credible pathway to the 1.5 degrees Celsius in place. So they create the problem. Then they tell you there is no solution unless you do what we say. And this is our solution. The computer guy who knows everything also said bedraggled climate mitigation efforts will slow down the progress we make on improving the human condition. Oh, they want to improve the human condition. Get out of here. That is not what the Saxons do. But anyway, he pointed out that in some parts of the world, more than 10% of kids die before the age of 5, and more than 30% don't even have enough to eat. but he does not provide any type of context as to why. Is it because of Saxon interventions, past or present, like genetically modified foods, like creating instability in governments, like inciting civil war, like creating environments where there is drought so that these people need UN and State Department aid? Just nothing. Don't talk about the plagues that they create and use gain of function to make more potent so that they wipe out people. Experimental drugs, none of that. Don't talk about that. Just give us some generic BS. But anywho, despite the computer guy's dour outlook, he also maintains some amount of optimism. I still believe we can avoid a terrible outcome, he said. See, he already has the solution. That's how he knows he can avoid a terrible outcome. But he didn't say you wasn't going to experience terror until you get to this solution that he has. So this is the terror phase, my people. The advanced nuclear reactors terror power are building use liquid sodium as the coolant and uranium as a fuel source. Let me read this again. The advanced nuclear reactors terror power are building use liquid sodium as the coolant and uranium as a fuel source. So these things, this is what they use to build nuclear bombs. But now they're going to tell us that they're going to use these nuclear reactors to build power for us, or to create power to have as an alternative to electricity or natural gas or whatever. And so you're supposed to be excited about this. And this is not bad for the environment. And this is not going to heat up the environment. You can't even dispose of this stuff. They got this stuff all over the earth and they can't do nothing with it. But then they're going to tell us that this is good. What you going to do with the waste? Questions nobody, is asking because people don't know to ask. But anywho, the computer guy said, we are making excellent progress. Of course he is. While also acknowledging that the Ukraine war has thrown a wrench in Terra Power's plans because the reactors plan to operate with fuel coming from Russia, and that relationship is no longer viable. Yes, something good that is coming from war. Put in a monkey wrench in the computer guy's plans. Say it ain't so. Terra Power's first plant is slated for Wyoming and due to be online by 2030, computer guy said, which is interesting because 2030 is when they have this agenda that coincides with the WEF. So you see how all these things are coming together. These people are not conspiracy theorists. We are telling you the conspiracy, and it is not a theory. It is real. It's real, people. You only got 7 years. It's 2023. You got 7 years of terror until we get to 2030. And if biblical prophecy is right, honey, we are in for it. So if you don't know the Most High, you better be trying to get your life together, because these people, these demons masquerading as people, are trying to take us out. This is a spiritual battle, and it is a mental battle. You are in a war, and the war is on your mind. And stupid people are not going to make it. A lot of them people that's out here doing these TikTok dances and all these stupid challenges, trying to make money on the internet and entertain folks, sports, doing stuff, engaging in escapism, they're not going to make it. They're not going to make it. So just pay attention to what's happening. Where making electricity is responsible for 27% of emissions. So he's saying that the way that they make electricity now creates 27% of whatever these emissions, these, I guess, carbon emissions that they suddenly are so concerned about. Growing things like plants and animals is responsible for 19% of emissions. So he's trying to say that a large portion of growing plants and animals also encompasses 19% of emissions. And so he needs to intervene and reduce that. And then he provides his own breakdown in his climate book, which I don't trust, but I would read it, and I'm going to read it so that I can understand what his agenda and his logic and his rationale is, because I don't trust nothing that he does. Anything, nothing. He can't tell me nothing. The computer guy who knows everything has backed several companies working to make meatless meat products, including Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods, he told Reddit users. And he's also backed Memphis Meats, which has recently rebranded under the name Upside Foods, computer guy said, which takes cells from an actual animal and grows the products in laboratory environments. So they are getting ready to take animals, get rid of all the real animals, grow animals in a lab, and sell them to you in the grocery store. And y'all supposed to be all right with this. Y'all better be trying to find you some alternative ways to feed yourselves, because Soylent Green is coming to us. And we do not have much time to figure out how we're going to survive free of these people. The Saxons are trying to kill us. I said it. I said it. I think eventually these products will be very good, even though their share is small today. So I don't know what that has to do with anything. They sell this nasty stuff in the store. If you've ever had it or smelled it, it smells disgusting. I've never eaten it. It smells like dog food. It does not look good. It's just disgusting. And I hear people talk about, oh, it's so good. Just don't eat meat if you're not going to eat meat, but don't be trying to force that nasty stuff on us. And besides that, scientists have said the proteins in this food our bodies can't break down, and it harms it. So I'll put the link to the research in this description for this story as well. But we don't need to be eating this stuff. If you're going to eat vegetables, just eat vegetables. If you're going to be a vegan, be vegan. But trying to come up with alternatives so you can say you substituted meat or dairy products is ridiculous. It's crazy. It is important to innovate alternative ways to produce meat alternatives and climate conscious ways, because for people who want to go vegan, that is great. But I don't think most people will do that. Computer guy said. Nobody's wanting to go vegan. People who want to go vegan can go vegan, but we don't have to eat. We don't want to eat his stuff. I just eat vegetables, and I don't want no vegetables that come from him. It's going to get to the point where we're not going to be able to go to the grocery store to consume our food. We're going to have to find alternative ways to eat. And it's unfortunate that most people are not really paying attention to this. Now, remember, the agenda is for 2030, 7 years, 7 years. And a couple of these years, we are going to endure terror and shortages and famines to get to this end of this 7-year period. So they already have plans. They created a problem by gradually demolishing the supply, killing the animals, saying everything is sick with bird flu and this flu and that flu and disease, and killing the crops with drought. So we're going to be limited to what we have access to going forward. And so if you do not have food in your house, dry goods, canned goods, things that you can eat while you're practicing becoming a farmer or finding other ways, alternatives to supply yourself with food, you should be doing that ASAP, because you only got 7 years. And you need to do it while the stores have food, because once something major hits, the shelves are going to be empty. The supply chain is already screwed up, and they're not going to be able to fill those orders that we need to supply all of us. People are going to be starving. People are going to be out here stealing, doing all kinds of stuff to survive. And so it's going to be like the Wild Wild West. I already see it. Beyond diet, computer guy that knows everything generally supports the thesis that creating cost-effective clean energy alternatives is the best way to fight climate change. The key on climate is making the clean products as cheap as the dirty products. Now, they made the clean products and they made the dirty products that create the emissions, but they're trying to tell us that now whatever they create is going to be better than the bad, dirty things that they already created that don't work. They keep creating things that don't work and they tell us those things are going to be better. There's a pattern here. People should be outraged that they keep doing this, but nobody's saying anything. And the people who have control, the Saxons, just go along with it. You see how happy and giddy they get when you talk about climate change? But wait till they start getting ready to get rid of the little animals. They want to kill the ducks and the dogs and stuff. Uh, as soon as they start talking about dog farts and cat farts are harming the environment, oh, they will wake up then, but not before. As long as they talk about all this other stuff, oh yeah, I'll be a vegetarian. I don't eat meat. You know, they've been putting this in us for a long time. Oh, I don't eat meat. I'm a vegetarian. I want to save the environment. Saxon's been saying this for 20, 30 years now. So they're indoctrinated. They're not going to change. But us black and brown folks who, you know, practice eating meat because one, is a part of our culture, and a lot of aspects is a part of our religious culture or our spiritual journey and traditions. You know, they don't want you to have access to those things. So we're going to have to find other ways to live, especially if you live in the West. So we go back to the sentence. The key on climate is making the clean products as cheap as the dirty products in every area of emission. And they know planes, concrete, meat, etc. So why concrete? So that's very interesting that he said that. And there's a reason for that. I don't know what it is, but there's a reason. We know why he said meat. And when he talks about planes, he's talking about travel, because that's a way that most people travel from continent to continent, from place to place. So they're getting ready to limit how we travel. When we talk about these smart cities and this technology, they want us to use Zoom and telephones and other ways to communicate with our family members and people that we have outside of our area where we live. We're not going to be able to travel as much as we do. And if we do, we're going to have to pay extra in order to travel. So that extra money is going to go to them, or go to these corporations, or go to the government. It's going to be like a tax. So we're going to be taxed to move. We're not going to be able to move freely. I don't know why Saxon's not outraged by this yet, but I'm just telling y'all what's coming. This is the only way we can ask all the countries in the world to change. All the countries in the world didn't do this shit. The Saxons did this. These white nations did this. And now these white nations want everybody in the world to pay, and it is not fair. If it costs a lot extra, we won't succeed. And so they're telling you there's going to be a cost to freedom. There's going to be a cost to liberty. There's going to be a cost to eating what you want to eat on your own. There's going to be a cost or a penalty for disobeying their rules or trying to live outside of the way that they want you to live. While innovation is the primary tool humans have to address climate change, according to the computer guy who knows everything, everyone can contribute to mitigating the effects of the climate change, he said. You are a voter, a consumer, a giver, and a worker. In every one of those roles, you can help, computer guy wrote. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is a significant ass statement, and I'm going to tell you why. You are a voter. You're voting now, and look at where we are. Nothing has changed. The people that you elect have allowed this to happen. They've allowed this to happen because these rich people, like the computer guy who knows everything, controls those people. So voting is not going to be a solution for you. So please get that off of your brain. A consumer. He understands that we consume. We are not going to have a choice but to consume the things that he produces. He's telling you in this article that everything that we're going to need, he's trying to put his hand in. He's wanting to get invested in power. He's trying to develop innovations for food. He's buying up land so he can grow the food. He is going to be your slave master. We are going to be the slaves. When he says giver, he's wanting us to be cheerful givers. He wants us to relinquish our freedoms and our rights and just give things away freely and be comfortable with having nothing and be happy. So when he talks about giving, be a giver, he wants us to fix problems that we did not create. We didn't industrialize the world. They did. And they want us to pay for their mess. And it's not really a mess. They just come up with this because they say it's too many people on earth and they want to get rid of some of us. And those of us that are, not stupid enough to die, they want to control us. So selling us this giving charitable heart kind of spiel is a way to kind of, you know, get us to not be threatened or fearful about what's coming. And the last part that really threw me is when he says we're a worker. He's telling us we're a worker, but worker is nothing more than a glorified name for a slave. And so you're a slave / worker and insert slave. And he's saying in these roles, we can help them fix the mess that they made. It's all one big mind fuck. But if you listen to these folks talk to you, you believe everything that they say because you're not analyzing they BS like I be analyzing it. Like I can read right through them. I already know what they're getting ready to do. I just know. I've been reading and studying up on it, and I see it. And you compare it to prophecy, biblical prophecy. Like it's all unfolding. Everything that they're doing, it's already been prophesied. Buying an electric car is something individuals can do. How are we going to afford electric cars? We can't afford electric cars. And even if we do buy electric cars, there is no way in hell we're going to be able to to charge them, because you got to have a charging station at your house. If you live in a rural place like me, there's no place to charge your car. You can only drive a certain number of miles before you need to recharge those things. A lot of states don't have that technology. Um, it's expensive. People are getting laid off. How are we going to afford electric cars? And then they're problematic. So, you got to have lithium for the batteries that you're going to keep charging up. It's like a cell phone. Where's that technology coming from? We don't have it here. It means they're going to have to go to some poor black or brown country and exploit that and extract it. So how is that better? How is that helping anybody? So we're again asking the poor to take care of the rich. And who's benefiting from these electric cars? The rich people who invest in these companies and the owners of them and whoever created the technology. They're going to be coming out the winners. So they want us to get rid of our fossil fuel cars or pay extra money for having them and then trade them in for these new cars. Like, it's just crazy. All of it is stupid. But anyway, um, buying an electric car is something individuals can do, as are options to pay a bit extra to offset emissions generated when we travel, which Computer Guy does for all of his emissions for himself and his family. So they done decided that we need to pay if we travel extra. And so he's already doing it to show, that he's making a good effort to try to eliminate a problem that's not really a problem, but the problem that they say is created. And so he wants us to follow suit. It's just slavery. They're going to track everything that we're doing. And I don't know how we're going to avoid it unless we just don't travel. They're going to travel. They're going to track everything you do. If you buy gas, they're going to know because they're going to convert to this digital currency. If you fly, they're going to know because you got to buy a ticket. And so you, between using your digital currency to buy it and your social credit score and this carbon emissions that's going to be printed on your itinerary and your ticket, it's like, there's no way to get around this. And I just cannot believe the Saxons are allowing this to happen. People who love freedom so much are allowing slavery to just come on through the door. We need support on climate from both political parties. It says both parties, but he's saying both political parties in the US and in all countries, Computer Guy said. Also, staying hopeful is a good thing. So you want us to stay hopeful. It's insane. Just insane. Anywho, I'm done with this story. It just makes my blood pressure boil. But I wanted y'all to get it and get it quickly. Make sure you buy that book that's in this link in this story and reread it and try to analyze it from a different lens. We got 7 years to try to figure out what to do. And that's not much time. And in between, we have to navigate all the other things that are coming our way. So again, remember, you are in a war. You have a lot of people shooting at you. The war is in your mind, and it's going to require you to do something. Sticking your head in the sand is not going to be an option. What they have planned for us is planned for everybody. And if we don't fight, you will fail. So I love y'all. I want y'all to be well. Take some time and think about this. Replay it if you need to. Please like the video, share it with your social circles, and subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. I'm going to be spending a lot of time this year bringing you stories like this because 2023 is expected to be a doozy, and I want my people to be prepared. If you have not begun prepping, you are behind the power curve. You better get your behind to the stores, get your food in bulk, get canned goods, get seeds, non-genetically modified. You better get fertilizer and all the things that you need so that you can try to grow food in your house. You can grow food in your yard. Um, if you eat meat and you like it, I suggest you practice eating meatless meals because that is going to be our future. These people are killing off all the livestock, all the animals, and it seems like their plan is working as planned. Too many people are asleep and not enough people are fighting back. So we're going to have to learn how to counter this on our own with like-minded individuals. And, you know, that's all we can do really. And pray because, you know, we don't have much hope and we don't have much time. We got 7 years, people, 7 years, and it's already 2023. The agenda is 2030, and we're well on our way. So I'm out. Y'all take care. Leave me your feedback below, and please, please, please prepare. I'm out.